Imagine a world where the earth itself refuses to give. No crops grow, no rivers flow with abundance, and humanity faces extinction. This isn't science fiction. This is the world King Prithu inherited, and the story of how his wife became central to transforming barren land into the fertile mother we know today. In the ancient texts of the Puranas, we find a profound tale that speaks to our relationship with nature, the divine feminine, and the sacred contract between humanity and earth. This is the story of Prithu, the first consecrated king, and how his reign brought forth the agricultural revolution that saved civilization. Let's journey back to a time of cosmic crisis. After the tyrannical King Vina's death, the earth herself had withdrawn her bounty. She was angry, wounded, and refused to yield her treasures. The goddess Prithvi, earth personified, had hidden all vegetation, all seeds, all nourishment within herself. Humanity was starving. The sages who had destroyed Vina knew they needed a righteous king to restore balance. From Vina's dead body, the wise rishis churned forth Prithu, a partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu himself. His very birth caused the earth to tremble with anticipation. Prithu was born with divine weapons in his hands and the mark of Vishnu's discus on his palm. The gods themselves attended his coronation, recognizing him as the first true emperor, the first Chakravarti. But Prithu's divine heritage wasn't enough. His people were dying. The earth remained barren, her surface hard and unyielding. No amount of ploughing could break the cursed soil. No prayers seemed to reach the wounded goddess below. Prithu faced an impossible task. How do you negotiate with a planet that has turned against you? Here's where the story takes a fascinating turn. Prithu's wife, whose name varies in different texts but is often called Archai, played a crucial role in understanding the solution. She reminded Prithu that force would never work against the Earth Mother. Instead, they needed to approach her with the right understanding, the right ritual, and the right intention. Prithu realized he must pursue the earth herself. In the Puranas, we see him taking up his divine bow, ready to compel the earth to yield her gifts. The earth, terrified, transformed herself into a cow and fled across the cosmos. Prithu chased her through all the worlds, his determination unwavering. He wasn't acting from anger but from dharma, from his sacred duty to protect his subjects. Finally, the earth goddess stopped running. She turned to face the king and spoke words of profound wisdom. She explained that she had withdrawn her abundance because humanity had become unworthy. They had taken without gratitude, exploited without care, and forgotten the sacred relationship between giver and receiver. She had hidden her treasures to protect them from misuse. Prithu listened with humility. He understood that being king meant more than ruling people. It meant being a steward of the sacred earth. He made a covenant with the goddess. He would level the mountains and valleys, creating flat land suitable for cultivation. He would establish laws protecting the earth's resources. He would teach humanity to take only what they needed and to give back in gratitude. The earth agreed, but on one condition. Prithu must milk her like a cow, and for this milking he needed the right calf, the right vessel, and the right milker. This is where the deeper symbolism emerges. The earth could not simply give. Humanity had to learn to receive properly, to use the right methods, to approach with the right consciousness. Prithu's wife Archai became instrumental in this sacred milking. Some texts suggest she served as the vessel, representing the receptive feminine principle that could hold and distribute the earth's gifts properly. Prithu himself became the milker, and various beings came forward to receive different forms of nourishment from the earth cow. The gods milked her for divine nectar, the sages milked her for sacred knowledge and Vedic wisdom. The demons received strength and power, humans received grains and crops, the mountains received minerals and precious stones. The trees received sap and life force. Each being received according to their nature and need, using appropriate vessels and methods. This cosmic milking represents the first organized agriculture, the first sustainable resource management, the first understanding of Earth's bounty as something to be respectfully cultivated rather than randomly exploited. Prithu literally leveled the earth, creating the plains and fields we know today. Before him, the world was rough and irregular, unsuitable for farming. The story carries profound ecological wisdom. The earth is not an infinite resource to be exploited. She's a conscious being who responds to how she's treated. When approached with respect, proper knowledge, and sustainable methods, she gives abundantly. When exploited carelessly, she withdraws her gifts. Prithu's wife represents the feminine wisdom necessary to balance masculine action. While Prithu had the power and determination to pursue the earth, it was feminine understanding that showed him how to receive her gifts properly. This balance of masculine and feminine, of taking and receiving, of power and wisdom, created the conditions for life to flourish. The name Prithvi, meaning earth, actually comes from King Prithu. The earth became known as his daughter because he made her fertile and productive. This linguistic connection reminds us that the world we inhabit has been shaped by the consciousness and actions of those who came before us. What can we learn from this ancient story today? First, that our relationship with nature is reciprocal. The earth responds to our consciousness and our actions. When we approach her with gratitude and sustainable practices, she provides abundantly. When we exploit without thought, we face consequences. Second, leadership means stewardship. Prithu didn't own the earth. He managed her resources for the benefit of all beings. True power lies not in domination, but in creating systems where all can thrive. His laws and organization transformed chaos into abundance. Third, the divine feminine principle, represented by both the earth goddess and Prithu's wife, is essential for prosperity. Receptivity, wisdom, and proper nurturing are as important as action and determination. We need both to create lasting change. The story also teaches us about anger and its transformation. The earth's anger at humanity's misuse was justified, but through proper understanding and changed behavior, that anger transformed into blessing. Our environmental crises today mirror this ancient tale. The earth is responding to our treatment of her. Prithu's legacy reminds us that civilization requires more than technology or power. It requires a sacred understanding of our place within the natural order. The first king's greatest achievement wasn't conquest, but creating harmony between humanity and earth. So the next time you see fertile fields or taste fresh grain, remember Prithu and his wife. Remember the earth goddess who agreed to give once more. Remember that the ground beneath your feet is not dead matter, but a living goddess who still responds to how we treat her. The ancient wisdom of this Puranic tale echoes louder today than ever before, calling us back to the sacred contract between humanity and our Earth Mother.